Waxing written by some dickhead, -6 and walks some old grandma, cat lady glasses and everything. She takes one look at me, and immediately begs that I not eat her. Before we can even get a word in, she bolts back towards the door and right into a guard. There's a wee clatter as Enon throws his fork onto the table. The crash was a lot louder than that, but you get the point. Luna struggles to contain her laughter, airy giggles leaking through clenched teeth. Indeed. It reminded me of the rather large Belle Celestia and Cadence share a look, like parents whose son came home with a swastika tattooed on his forehead. She just sits there for like a minute, apparently thinking that we operate on T-Rex rules or something. Shining armor makes himself useful. T-Rex rules? Basically, we can't see her if she doesn't move. The guard asks if she's alright, and, I swear to God, she tries to jump out a window. Of course, she doesn't make it that far, but with levitation and all, and so just floats there in a Superman pose. Luna brings this mirror right up to her eyes, and in the coldest voice I've ever heard, "Actually, you do it." Luna steals herself, her countenance grim and gaze piercing. "You seem frightened. Should I call a doctor?" Dams break, and their laughter fills the dining room. It takes a minute or so before they can breathe, the others watching on in loathsome silence. Certainly an interesting series of events. What happened afterwards? Celestia is genuinely worried that he ate her. She wanted permission to build an orphanage on public land. We allowed it. She thanked us a couple hundred times, and nobody died. Nice lady, if a little jumpy. Luna chuckles. What did she call you again? The Great and Imperious N? Something like that. It's nice to know the public already adores me. I would argue that such a title brings to mind child sacrifice and dark rituals, not benevolence and charity. Perhaps you should work on your image. Rape ape can be Moloch if I want to be. Moonhurst. There's no malice in either of their voices, the whole interaction a noticeable departure from their passive-aggressive shit-flinging. And while Celestia fusses about how Enon and Luna treated her little ponies, Cadence is genuinely surprised that their relationship improved so quickly. You two seem to be getting along. They stop and look at each other. So we are. Truth be told, I've grown to tolerate him. She's certainly better company than most of their ponies. This is a change that they've, on a subconscious level, certainly noticed, but haven't yet bothered to explicitly acknowledge. It's sobering, almost liberating, to have out in the open, an unexpectedly welcome departure from teenage girl drama bullshit. What's with the third person? You're sitting right next. Never mind. Any plans for tomorrow? A minute of silence. I'll take that as a no. You should take the day off, learn each other's hobbies and stuff. Enon shrugs. Sure. Luna grunts in the affirmative. They finish their meals in relative silence. Enon twines his fingers and taps his thumbs, inspecting the bookshelves that line the walls. Safe to say you like reading? Luna sports something that's halfway between a smirk and a grimace. Very astute. What kind of books do you read? Assorted nonfiction, mainly history. It is rather interesting when you have experienced the events first to I'd imagine so. At least we've similar taste. A clock ticks, and their discomfort grows. It's not like Enon and Luna have an awkward crush on each other, or that there's any real hatred between them. They're just not the sort to really talk about themselves. They aren't introverts, per se, but they're undeniably reserved, and find it unpleasant to discuss their personal lives. This is, perhaps, inspired by a fear of criticism, or maybe even some sort of self-loathing. Either way, they'd rather be doing most anything else. Any of their interests. And that sister would find acceptable. This certainly grabs his attention. Care to elaborate? Mr. Hopper, you really must be more careful. Flutter. She tugs on the splint to make sure it's in place. She rubs the rabbit's head with a hoop before placing him on the couch, the critter bundled in a nest of pillows and blankets. It's a minor injury, all things considered, but Fluttershy has always indulged in motherly excess when helping our animal friends. She retires to a wicker rocking chair and takes a sip of tea, the apron painted yellow in the light of a midday sun. A cool breeze carries Brits on through an open window, and a fireplace merrily pops underneath photos of family and friends. Fluttershy leans back and takes a deep breath, absorbing the terrible screeches fill the errant clouds of dirt fly through the window. As the scent of blood and swamp water invades her nostrils, Fluttershy slowly puts her tea on the side table. Her shuddering footsteps smear the mess all over the carpet, and her wings are pressed tight around her barrel. Hooves clinging to the windowsill, she forces herself to look outside. A hydroith is about in an impact crater. Two of its heads are missing, and blood pours from the wounds that pepper its body, staining the snow and steaming against the cool winter air. It bellows as it shambles out of the crater, facing down the beings that have just burst out of the eager fray. Goddamn. Did you really have to throw it? No, but I certainly enjoyed doing so. Luna sports a suit of ancient mithril plate, the surface littered with engravings and defensive runes. It practically glows with magic, untarnished despite its copious use. Enon, meanwhile, boasts a copper cooking pot and very thick jacket, for everything in the armory had been made for talking horses. She makes for the beast with a flourish of wings, warhammer held in a trelenglo. One of the Hydra's remaining heads snaps at her, and she dodges to the left before bringing the hammer down on its neck. There's a crunch, then a bang as Enon fires his gun. It's a primitive thing, a Griffin matchlock brought over in a technology exchange, but it certainly does the job, and is sturdy enough to survive when Enon charges the Hydra with a bayonet. It's dead before long, and the two admire their kill, gasping for breath and covered in blood. They turn to each other and, without a word, move in for a kiss. Tongues and spit meld, and they run back into the forest, whooping like wild apes. Oh dear, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video make sure to like and leave a comment and share it with